Netflix is set to release its quarterly earnings today, but its revenue growth is expected to drop, and one of the reasons behind it could be password sharing. Are you guilty of that? According to a Reuters poll, 21% of viewers ages 18 to 24 said they stream at least one video service using someone else's login who is not part of their family, because your family can share your login. 12% of adults said that they did the same thing. So joining me now is Nick Martell and Jack Kramer, founders and CEOs of MarketSnacks, a financial newsletter that simplifies Wall Street. That's what we need right here. Yes. So I think a lot of people do this. They share their passwords. I had a friend who said that she knew her relationship was over because her boyfriend changed the password on her. It's kind of like a way of proving that you trust each other because you're sharing the passwords, right? It doesn't seem that bad, is it?
Well, it doesn't seem that bad, but technically it is illegal. The interesting situation we have here is that the streamers are just kind of cool with it for now.
Okay, so they're cool with it for now. So how does it affect the bottom line of the company, though?
Well, there are three really main reasons why the streamers actually aren't cracking down on it. The first one being that the household issue you brought up earlier is kind of a funky gray area for them. So how do you define a household in the 21st century? You know, is it a millennial who's 29, living in their parents' basement, psychologically isn't in the household, physically is? So that's the first one.
Yeah, second is the executives actually say that there aren't too many password moochers out there. It's just not that big a deal.
Okay, but investors are going to be looking at the number of subscribers. I mean, Netflix is really putting a lot of money into developing new shows, new content. I'm sure investors are going to wonder, well, what are we getting in return for all this money that you're spending?
Yeah, we actually think the third reason that companies aren't cracking down on password moochers is the most interesting one. And that is that it's a great marketing scheme. You get to try it before you buy it.
Once you invest like 10,000 hours into watching those first 6 seasons of Game of Thrones, if they cut you off before season 7, you're probably going to pay up a little bit to make sure you see what happens when winter comes.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's genius, actually. If Netflix were to crack down right now and require you to have your own account, a lot of people wouldn't convert to paid subscribers. But if they let you mooch for a year, maybe 2 years, maybe 5 years, then you're going to be so hooked that you're more likely to become a paid subscriber.
And there's some cool stories out here of like HBO, which is giving away HBO Go to college campuses because they want you getting hooked in that 4-year period, especially when you're a student and you're more likely to binge.
So they're nurturing you.
That totally makes sense.
From cradle all the way to the binge point.
Right. But that seems like a lot of time investing in gaining an individual customer, doesn't it?
It's a lot of time, but on top of it, they're doubling down on content. Like you just said before, they're really kind of giving away TV shows on companies like Netflix, like Oprah giving away gifts. They're giving Bill Nye a show this spring. They're releasing something like over a dozen new shows that you didn't expect. Chef's Table's exploding into new episodes, and we never thought that could go beyond 1 season. So by getting that content out there, they're creating a real interest that's new and refreshed every year.
But it's also clear that the companies just aren't considering this a problem right now. At MarketSnacks, we like to look at a historical parallel, and it's the music industry. So back in the 90s, we had Napster, Kazaa, LimeWire. I got to download all the Third Eye Blind I wanted for free. But then music labels lawyered up. They started prosecuting. People paid huge fines. But you just haven't seen that from the streaming services right now.
So that's like for me as a consumer, which I'm very happy to hear about. But as an investor, aren't they going to be looking for those numbers? They want to know how many new subscribers you're getting every quarter?
Yeah, we think the crackdown on moochers is going to happen. And it will happen once growth starts to slow down. So Netflix this afternoon is expected to report 31% growth in revenues.
Is that good, or were
That's
investors
great.
expecting more?
Their stock's at an all-time high, and you know Reed Hastings, the CEO, is sitting happy, you know, killing cable. But if that growth drops to 10%, then he'll start to feel the heat. He'll start to realize that the company is leaving money on the table with these freeloaders, and then they'll start to implement measures so that streaming can't happen simultaneously in Detroit from the New York City parent's account. There's ways to stop this.
And crackdown has worked before. So if you look at newspapers, another industry disrupted by digital, a lot of them have failed as a result of this challenge of giving away content for free. But some of the more successful ones, like the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal, they cracked down early and they forced paywalls. And there's some situations where you see the Wall Street Journal, for example, cracking down on a paywall, and they saw an 86% surge in subscriptions for a certain type of article.
Right, because you want that content. They got you hooked, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Jack and Nick, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Emery.
Thank you.